Matt, are you guys going to be doing any one-on-ones the next few days?
Not today. We'll reassess it tomorrow, and we'll see how today goes.
Is that to try to just keep it from escalating?
Well, I think a lot of the issues sometimes stems in those periods. You know, there's these guys are competitors, man, and that's what we love about them. But sometimes, you know, that's where tempers start to flare, and you see it carry over. So, just thought it was best to operate the way we are, where we go right to team, and you know, I think we're on the same page. It's pretty much the same script as last year against the Jets.
Will Jenkins and Watson and Tunyon participate in these?
They will not. They'll just part of individual.
From your perspective, what do you guys get out of these joint practice experiences in comparison to an actual exhibition game if they played a few series or something like that?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's a great opportunity. Like I mentioned before, it's much more controlled. I also think just getting a different look is important, because a lot of these, it sounds like there's a lot of game planning that's going on, you know, prior to these practices. So it really forces you to hone in on your rules and follow your rules as a player, to make sure, because throughout the course of the season, throughout the course of the preseason, certainly there's going to be a lot of unscouted looks, so it makes you just kind of stay sharp on what your rules and responsibilities are.
You said it would be the same script as last year, but how much did you collaborate with Dennis and meet with him about kind of jointly putting the script together?
Yeah, we spent as much time as needed. Certainly, I talked to him again yesterday, but we had talked a few times throughout the course of this, just in terms of all the logistics going on, in terms of what time we start, how many periods, what's the D&Ds, the personnels. So just making sure that both sides were happy with it.
Did you incorporate anything from his usual practice script, or do you guys pretty much overlap with everything?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, there was definitely some things that we implemented that we talked about.
Sorry, is Elvin going to stick it with right tackle for now?
That's day to day, so we'll see.
Are there going to be any call-it periods, or is everything kind of scripted these next?
No, I mean, you could in some regards you could say everything is kind of unscripted in terms of, because you really have no idea what the opposition is going to do outside of the personnel groupings. So, but no, there are going to be some move the ball, call it, and we're going to let the officials officiate it. We're lucky that we have 2 crews here, so hopefully that'll help control the practice a little bit more. And I think it's going to be a great experience for our guys also having the officials here, you know, kind of trying to understand how they see certain things, making sure that we're using proper technique and staying disciplined with that technique.
Matt, will you break it down? Will you have a blitz period, a red zone period, goal line period, things like that? Will you do 2 minutes?
Yep, all of the above. So we're going to start out with our run, play, pass period, which is all first down. Then we're going to transition to a third down period, which is going to be quite a challenge, I would say, for the offenses involved. Just some of the D&Ds that we picked are going to. The deck is stacked against them a little bit, but it'll be good. It'll be great. And then transition to the red zone. Then we'll have the move the ball period, and then finish with a 2-minute. And then, you know, we'll see how the practice goes. Potentially a developmental period at the end as well. Another move the ball, call it.
Will these be more tailored to your starters and second team guys because of the preseason game on Friday?
Yeah, I would say I mean, we're really only going 2 groups, so it's your starters, and then it's the 2s and 3s are going to be the second group.
Coach, what do you hope the rookies gain from these joint practices?
Well, I think every time you go out there and practice is another learning experience, and then just to see compete against different people, experience a different scheme. I mean, certainly. In all 3 phases, we're all a little bit different, and so I think it'll be good for them. Just like I mentioned earlier, just making sure they're on top of their rules, because we didn't spend a whole lot of time watching New Orleans Saints film. I mean, they might have peeked it a little bit in a meeting, but there wasn't, I would say, a whole lot of time just dedicated to that.
Matt, with how that the defense has been against your own offense this training camp. What is the expectation level for them now that they're going up against a competing offense?
I mean, the expectation level is the same every time they go out there. It's to give their best and to make sure that they're doing the things that they can control, the communication, how we fly to the football. It'll be fun to see how, conversely, how a great Saints defense plays on the other side of the ball, how they attack the football. So it's just, again, every time you go out there, you want to put your best stuff out there for everybody to see. There's going to be a lot of, certainly our whole scouting department's here. Their whole scouting department's going to be there. So it's going to be a good opportunity for all our guys to have a lot of eyes on them throughout the course of practice and see how they compete for 2+ hours.
Matt, is the idea for both you guys to have the ones go against each other, the twos go through?
Yeah, it'll be good and good.
Matt, are you guys keeping that robot thing around? It was out of practice yesterday.
What did you think of the
I
robot?
thought it was pretty cool.
So did I. I will say, we better get a discount. That's a lot of publicity that Monarch has gained through this.
We're easily amused.
Yeah.
When did you learn about that as a thing?
A couple weeks ago, after the infamous press conference.
Did someone contact you, or did you go do some research?
No. That was all, Russ Ball and our equipment staff did a great job of kind of looking into things, and that's what they found. So a lot of our players, I didn't realize how many of our players had experience with that machine before. So I guess they're pretty prevalent throughout some of the major college programs, and then some of these guys shoot. I think I saw that. Does Adrian have his own? So these guys have definitely seen them before or used them during camps or whenever it may be.
Have you gotten on the receiving end of one of those yet?
I did.
Attempted to? Yeah.
Pre-practice, yeah.
But
You guys missed it.
But you hadn't experienced it from your college coaching or anything like that?
Mhm. I think it's relatively new, so I think they said they started in like 16 or whatever, and just kind of last couple of years got those models out.
How well do you know Dennis Allen? Like before all this happened, did you know him well, hardly at all?
Not particularly well. I know he knows some of our coaches pretty well, but he's a guy that certainly I've always had a ton of respect for. I mean, he's been doing it at a high level in this league for a long time, and you just watch when he was the defensive coordinator, obviously in New Orleans, just how the defense plays, the mentality they play with, and I think you got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Obviously, you knew Robert, fairly well.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say so too. So has this been any more challenging putting these practices together with someone who you don't really know, or?
Not particularly. I would say it's as long as the communication's there, and we've communicated great, and he's been awesome to talk to, and yeah, it's been great.
Hey, Matt, on Friday night, there were a couple of throws that Jordan had in the flats that were off target a little bit. Is that something with his footwork, or routes, not run correctly, or what? How do you get him to complete those or get those, right on?
Yeah, I think definitely if you talk to Jordan, I think those are a couple of those he'd definitely like to have back. Just looking at it, like what we could have done better, probably wasn't the best way to run it because a couple of those reads kind of got muddied up based on our formation, but and just how the technique that the defense was playing with forced our tight end to kind of arc his release and kind of got in the window, and not to make excuses for it because you still got to make those throws. And but yeah, there's room for improvement from everybody, I would say.
Can I just follow up? If that route isn't perfectly run, do you expect the quarterback to adjust to that and complete it anyway, or is he thrown into a spot and the running back's got to get to it?
No, I think the expectation is that you have to adjust. I mean, that's just the name of the game. So you have to be able to adjust, and you might not be in the perfect body position every time, but you got to finish your throw and throw it accurately. That's just part of the job.